Okay, so here it is. The 4Bs, bullish Bitcoin banter and bullshit. They are back. So Never Look, myself, Mr. All In, and Dr. Evil 10%. Wait. No, she's still not here. Mrs. No Show, she is still not here. Hey, it's all good. But this is pod number 39.
There's no excuse that we moved it to Wednesday either.
Okay, we can do whatever day we're asking for Mrs. No Show.
But I'm not doing it at lunchtime.
Fucking Friday.
Yeah, Friday lunchtime, Mrs. No Show wants. Hey, if the viewers think that we should try and get Mrs. No Show back on a Friday lunchtime, we'll put it to a vote.
And then we'll ignore the vote.
Yeah, exactly.
If it doesn't go our way, we'll ignore it. We'll do a Biden on it.
Yeah, straight away.
If we're losing the vote, we'll just in the last hour add 10 more votes to our side so we win again.
There's only 4 of us.
Pull it out from under the table. 12 votes. Say Tuesdays. We win again.
He's always going to be against a 3-to-1 ratio anyway, so regardless of what the vote says.
Exactly. I'll get pulled out of it for meetings and so on, so I just can't commit on a Friday.
Young MBA will be coming on before he comes on.
We'll have another guest appearance at some point.
Yeah.
Especially if you end up unemployed next month.
Time on your hands. I love that when he listens to this.
He'll be desperately trying to pump up the Bitcoin noise to get the value up.
Yeah.
I know he's going to need it to get through his hard times.
Yeah. Start retweeting everything.
I was just going to say, it's been a bit of a crazy week in Bitcoin. Everything seems to have ramped up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the last couple of weeks, weirdly, right, we started the new year and we had some stories, but I think for the first time ever, we were struggling for stories. And I think the last couple of weeks, the stories built up a little bit, but they've been quite lightweight. There's not big news in there. It's just kind of chatter. This week, I mean, we've got 10 or 15 here, and they're all pretty meaty. They're like big shit. So
we've got a lot going on in South America, like some big stories. Well, one which I don't really understand the scope of, and then the other which is inevitable.
Yeah, definitely.
Jack Mallers has seen the prey and he's hunting it down.
He's got a lot to go after. I mean, I know we covered it initially, didn't we? But yeah, he's going to take over the world with Strike.
Yeah,
God, he really is. Yeah, of course.
Let's start it off as always. If anyone wants to follow, all the show notes are in the bottom, whether you're watching on YouTube or your favorite listening app. So let's do it.
Yeah, so this is Striker expanding to Argentina, and Gaz has put in a figure that inflation is 50.9% in the last year. So just to kind of like go into that one, that's the official figure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the official figure. That I don't think it's in the article, but I think it's below. I think it might be linked. There's an article, but that is the official figure from the government of Argentina, 50.9%. Yeah.
So by a general rule, we could double or treble
that. yeah, exactly.
It's an interesting one because Argentina, I was having a good think about this one, that we have talked about Argentina before in hyperinflation. And I want to say that Argentina has been through hyperinflation 4 times in the last either 50 or 100 years.
Yeah. And recently, I think.
Yeah, it's one of the worst ones because they've had to bin off their currency and form a new one, which is very similar. The same thing, it's fiat from the government, and start again because they've ended up in hyperinflation. So they've gone through a standard of, we won't do it this time. And it's like, well, we just need a few more pesos. We need a few more. We need a lot more. We need a lot more. But it's just like, boom. And no one wants to deal in pesos or whatever currency they're in. So it does seem like it's quite easy prey because it's happened so many times in Argentina. And Argentina, I think of, they've also, what's the correct word for it? They can't repay their debt to the US. So they've had to bail out on that one, which has affected their credit rating as a country.
I'm just...
And the definition of hyperinflation as well is it's over 50% inflation in a year. So being at 50.9, it means Argentina are officially back into hyperinflation, which it's just a perfect time for Strike to land. But I like his interview because this is very different to his news in El Salvador. This doesn't mean Argentina going on to a Bitcoin standard in any shape or form, because straight away the interviewer goes, have you spoken to the government? Is the president on board? And he just goes, look, that isn't my job. I'm not going to go lobby politicians. My job is, I'm a tech guy rolling out financial services to the people. The people can now use it. That's all this news is. So he hasn't got the president sat next to him like he did with Bukele at El Salvador this time. So it's not like Argentina are going to go onto a Bitcoin standard or anything like that, but it just means people on the ground now have access to Bitcoin. They can download the Strike wallet. They can send money to each other for free. They can leave the country and send money back to Argentina for free. So the remittance fees all go. So it's massive news. And I really admire Jack, because if he wanted to make money, you would roll out Strike in the UK, in some rich European countries, and the amount of fees and kind of the amount of money that would go into his app would be a lot more going into
But it's Argentina. Wouldn't you say that that's an easier target because it's one where the money is the value is deflating so much that you need to put it in something else? Wouldn't you say that it's an easier target to hit a country like that in the UK?
Maybe, but I still think, imagine how much we would use it. Like, I would switch to it straight away. So I think there's a lot of Bitcoiners. I think you're right. Like there's undoubtedly the use cases there, but the use case for financial products has always been there in South America and Africa, but it's not profitable. So big financial companies don't give a fuck to solve the problem.
Yes, I suppose that their yearly income, I don't know what it is in Argentina, but say it's £1,000. Yeah. Whereas the average income in the UK for someone who is full-time employed is 40, I think.
Exactly. I can guarantee that the average wallet value of obviously the way of that Strike make money is when you're buying and selling, converting from fiat into Bitcoin, there's a spread, and that'll be where they make their fees. I can guarantee that the average wallet size in Argentina will be a fraction of what it would be if you rolled it out across Europe.
But you will get more people because there's a desperation across the whole population, whereas in the UK, it's the what's it called? It's the early adopters. We're still in an early adoption stage. I know it probably doesn't feel like that to you, but it is.
And also maybe there's links from El Salvador, like family-wise as well. So El Salvador to Argentina, it gets passed via word of mouth and through family members, and that social proof trust makes people in the South America region more likely to use it. And perhaps it's a little bit easier as well going down this route of giving it to the people as opposed to then trying to lobby with the government to put it as a Bitcoin standard, because it may naturally occur through the people, and then they'll vote with essentially somebody that says, do you know what, this is pretty good. Or it could be a kid, couldn't it? That's grown up with this, that then becomes, goes into politics and sees that this is the right way.
So I've got a wiki up for Argentina. So since independence from Spain in 1816, the country has defaulted on its debt 9 times, and inflation has often been in the double digits, even as high as 5,000%. Wow. Resulting in several large currency devaluations. And I think there was one about the 1980s, but it went up to, was it 500%? Or was it 300%? One of the earliest ones. So there we go. This led to an average annual inflation rate of 300% between 1975 and 1990. So 15 years, 300% every year.
Yeah, so the 50 figure, whilst it sounds big, is probably nothing.
Yeah.
And it's a lot higher.
Yes, they're just on the curve, aren't they? It's, this is
they're a big use case. Like El Salvador's poor and they just can't get that poverty. They tried to for having their own fiat currency, tried to copy the big boys, got devalued because everyone just went, fuck it, I don't have to put up with this, I can deal with dollars. Yeah. And now they're getting fucked over by the US government. So we can go on to Bitcoin. And Argentina, they're such a case study for them to be on a Bitcoin standard, because it stops their government being out of control. But their government's so corrupt that will they actually get it in?
Yeah, that's the thing to watch now, is whether Argentina react to stuff like this. Will they ban it? Will they try and regulate it out of existence? That's going to be the reaction, because with El Salvador, like we've talked about, Bukele actually called up Jack and invited him in and went, we want to go onto a Bitcoin standard. How do we do it? And Jack taught them through the tech side, and then they rolled it out. That was very much they were pulling. No one was pushing. Whereas on this one, I mean, Jack's pushing. He's like, the next country that I think needs it is Argentina. So bang, he's rolled it out. So now it's about what's the reaction? Because undoubtedly the people are going to love it. The people can download it, get into their Bitcoin, and suddenly realize, wow, they have a bank account for the first time in their lives that they can actually hold value in and send it around. Because obviously a lot of the big mainstream banks don't like giving bank accounts to people that are poor and default on debt.
Well, they had a once in a lifetime money seizure. I don't know if you call it that, in Argentina. I think it was the equivalent of, if you had wealth over £10,000, they would take a slice of it. I want to say it was 10%, and this happened last year.
Those people with money a little bit of a haircut when it comes to their finances.
So Bitcoin stops that.
Yeah,
exactly.
That stops that kind of behavior happening. So the government have to behave responsibly.
Mm.
We're talking about responsible governments. Should we flip over to Turkey?
Oh, we love a bit of Erdogan.
This one literally came out this evening. How long ago actually was it? Literally, 10 to 5 today.
It's not one which I've actually looked at. I haven't looked at the show notes.
Just looked at this. Yeah, this evening.
It's exciting.
Click the link. It's Bukele. He's tweeted. You have to click translate the tweet if you want to actually be able to read it, because it is I think it's actually in Turkish, not even in Spanish, this one. But it says, this Thursday, I am visiting the President of the Republic of Turkey, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
Yeah.
Oh, but Erdogan's corrupt as fuck. Will he actually?
I know. This is.
Well, it's an
no one would have predicted this one.
But the thing is, Erdogan keeps on sacking his finance ministers because they want to raise the interest rates in order to taper off the inflation, but then they could just keep on printing.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, probably if I had to predict what's going to play out here, Nave might go over there and go try and get them onto a Bitcoin standard and all that type of stuff. But Erdogan's so fucking corrupt, he'll probably end up just going, Bitcoin just looks like a good investment and it's going to make a load of money. So what I'm going to do is take a load of the public money, put it into Bitcoin, let it appreciate, and then just sell it and steal the gains.
But if they have their if they have their reserve in Bitcoin, it's still an advancement.
Yeah.
I know it's not for the right reason. It's another use case.
Yeah, if the government actually used the gains for the public good, it would be great. But if they're just going to steal it and make a gold mansion, then it didn't make any difference, did it?
What do you mean? That gold mansion was made 10 years ago?
Yeah.
It might pump the price a little bit, and then it'll dump the price when he takes his gains out.
I saw Erdogan around some conference. I saw a picture of him. He looks really decrepit now, because, the pictures which are usually published, he's a fairly strong man, whereas the one which I saw in the last year, he looked a bit fragile.
Maybe he's seeing the light then. Maybe he's nearly on the way out and he's going, you know what? I'm going to leave my corruption behind and just do something good for the country before I bow out. That would be nice.
No, it's going to be some mass genocide instead.
If he did that as well. He's 67 in terms of age, but
is he?
I don't believe that maybe, in Turkey that the average age is of a long time. So maybe he's coming to the end, because that way he can rewrite history, because he'll be seen as that good guy that did it for the people, even though it was like the last 3 months of his life and not the 67 years of prior.
Yeah, it's very left field.
Yeah.
I would never have predicted Turkey, because as we've always said, it's super corrupt, virtually a dictatorship. These should be the countries that are last, even though Turkey is absolutely a use case. It would fix the country.
Oh yeah,
no ends up, but it's whether the government
if you actually
allow it.
Yeah, if you actually had a government or a president who actually wanted to do something for people, it is a big use case. So I think what we're starting to see is that a lot of the small currencies are falling apart because people, it's not even so much how much they print, it's the fact that no one sees the value in them. So like for Turkey, they're like dollar, and they don't want to be using a dollar.
It wouldn't surprise me actually is that what they'll have common ground on is the debt that they owe other countries. And he's probably, and Turkey are probably under a lot of pressure, and they've just gone, how are you just on Twitter giving 2 fingers up to IMF? Like, how can you do this? And he's like, because I don't use their money anymore. They can't, and it might just trigger something in the Turkey in Erdogan's head and go, oh, like, so I can give 2 fingers up to America. Yeah, because every time they print some and your debt goes up, they can't do that anymore because you don't hold your money in dollars, you hold it in Bitcoin. And it might, even though he's a crop fucker, he might just be thinking greedily, gets them off my back. So
yeah, and it does help out the people as a secondary factor.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to inflate his money as stupidly high.
Yeah, because
he got a proper solution to the mob problem instead.
Because part of the outcome of the what's it called, Bretton Woods? Was it Bretton Woods in the 70s? I can never remember which one it was.
Yeah, Bretton Woods.
Yeah, was that they have to basically follow how much America prints.
Yeah.
And otherwise, America just puts sanctions on everyone for not printing enough. Sorry, you're not making your poor poorer. What are you doing? Sanction.
What's that? You're a terrorist.
But I'm just trying to help my people. Terrorist.
Look up. Is that a bomber?
Yeah. I was just looking at recent news stories of Erdogan, and he's been pretty active. So he's trying to mend talks with the Israeli president Herzog, who says that he may visit very soon, and also boosting ties with Albania, and there was something else. Oh, he also talks about he's cut inflation to 4% before, and he can do it again.
They're at 36.1 official. So we're looking around about, what do we say, 60 to 90% real.
He wants it down to 4. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's actually funny that 4 would be a massive goal. That's still.
But that's 8 or 12. We know that again.
True. Yeah.
It's like asking a girl how many people they slept with. Whatever they say, times it by 3.
That's a good promising one. So we got 2 really positive pieces of news from Argentina and Turkey. Do we want to go on to another country, or do we want to leave that till later?
Let's keep it with the countries. Keep going.
So Brazil. So this was what is it? If you pay part of your taxes, you get a reduction in how much it is, isn't it? So that's it's a mayor of one of the cities. I can't remember the name of the city off the top of my head though.
Is it Rio?
Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, Rio.
The capital.
Yeah. So he announced the tax thing, and then this is a follow-up around the treasury as well.
That's right. Yeah. So the Rio de Janeiro mayor said that they'll put 1% of its treasury into Bitcoin. I tried to do a little bit of research around what the 1% in terms of value actually is, but I couldn't find a specific number. I don't know if anyone else has got a number at all.
And also, do they actually have a treasury, or do they just run on debt?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I thought, rather than trusting, I'd actually tried to verify and put some numbers behind it, because you could say 1%, but 1% of what, and what is that actual value as well? It's kind
if
of
you
like
look at the amount of people with 6.7 million there, so it's not like that town, was it in America, where he gave some sats to all the residents, and they're only a couple thousand.
Wyoming.
Yeah, something like that. Whereas this is 6.7 million, so it's that's higher population in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
And it's a 10% saving if you pay in Bitcoin, which is pretty decent. That's quite a big incentive. But already people have come out and gone, look, don't give governments your Bitcoin. But look, like if you're giving them fiat, that's the same as Bitcoin, really, because that fiat could have been Bitcoin. So it makes sense that if you're about to pay your government £10,000, say, you might as well convert that £10,000 into Bitcoin, give them £9,000 worth of Bitcoin, and keep the £1,000 of Bitcoin for yourself. So okay, it is them stacking sats, but giving them fiat is the same thing, because if you give them 10 grand, they could buy 10 grand worth of Bitcoin behind the scenes. It's no different. But yeah, it looks good, because it looks like Brazil are they're stacking Bitcoin. They're not on a standard yet. It's just 1% at the moment. But we know what happens to everyone, right? Everyone starts off small. Everyone starts going
just 10%,
and then they realize they lost many games. Yeah, got to 10% over there. It's now at 140%.
Oh, he's secretly all in. We've made some great progress, by the way, because I'm sure you won't mind saying, but was it Friday night we were messaging?
Yeah, I was just about to go to bed and these messages start flashing up, and I was just like, ooh, pension talk. So while my wife's snoring, I was just like, ooh, pension.
I kept him up over an hour later than he was going to go to bed. And I think big revelation, breaking news, he will not be paying into his pension come April.
April? Why not February?
It's just the tax years.
Does that matter?
Just going to start in the tax year, and then you've got your when you got a clean tax return.
Yeah,
there we go.
So because I'm going to start off slightly less risky. I'm going to start off with a SIP, probably a bit of an ISA, but you get automatic 20% from going to a SIP, and then at the end of the tax year, you can claim your additional tax back. So if I do clean tax years, then I can sort that out a lot easier. But then I've got to finalize what I'm going to invest in. I need to do a bit of analysis on it. I need to actually dig into it.
The biggest step is just taking control. That's my main point for this entire time. Is just I almost don't care what you do with it. You could just go and spend it on coke and hookers. At least you're doing something with it. Putting in a pension, like I don't think you're going to see it. I honestly don't. But in 20 years' time, when that actually matures, I honestly think our government would have stolen it. So at least by not paying in now, just take the company.
I don't think there's ever a need to steal a pension, though, because they can just print what they want.
Have a look across go and have a look at Argentina, Cyprus, Brazil, everywhere.
Yeah, but with the UK, we just print what we want.
Yeah, until we can't.
Yeah, then they steal.
And they hyperinflate it. So you say you've got like 100 grand, 200 grand, 500 grand worth of pension. You're like, I'm cushy. Yeah, you are, until 500 grand only buys a loaf of bread. Now
Correct.
What?
Exactly. Or the pension becomes underfunded. So all these people all try to take their pension and the money's just not there as well.
As we've always said, like the best way of stealing money is by printing more somewhere else and devaluing yours. So your pot basically becomes worthless. You have to get out of fiat and put it into a different type of asset. And that's what you're about to do, which is fantastic. So I'm happy.
I'm going to get him away from the SIP, however, though. I'm trying to push him away from the SIP because the SIP still locks in until 57, whereas the ISA will allow him control as and when.
It's looking into things because we've got the company pension, and it was more of a revelation of what actually made up the company pension. The fact that so much was bonds and cash, and I was just like, this is possibly one of the worst makeups of a pension ever. Like, why would I have such? I think it's like 30% of it is, a third of it is getting nothing out of it, and literally that's holding back the rest of your pot. It's, for anyone who's listening, if you've got a company pension, look into it and see if you can contribute elsewhere, because the breakdown is you'll have government bonds, which gain nothing because there's no interest rate, then cash, which is deflationary. So you're basically fighting those two assets in order to actually get a positive amount within your pension. So you're on a proper uphill battle.
Don't trust, verify.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially when you look at your pay slip, if you actually break down your payments, like the pension payment will be substantial. Like, why haven't you verified that payment? If that payment was going anywhere else, you'd know everything about it. but no one knows what's in the pension. It's like, no, it's got the word pension on it. It must be safe. It must be good. No, that does not have to be that. Don't trust it. Verify it. And if at the end of the verification, you're like, no, I want to be invested in cash and bonds, fine, leave it there. You're not going to make it, but leave it there. In reality, you should come to the conclusion of taking control and investing it in property.
It's looking at whether you can move the company pension to a SIP.
Yeah, and you can.
Yeah, it's figuring out how to. So step one will be starting off the payments in a new one. Step two will be moving that one out because it's absolutely terrible.
Because in reality, everyone needs money when you're old, when you're not working, so it makes sense. But instead of calling it a pension, just call it like future planning. That's it. Like, it's financial planning, and you don't need to pay someone 1% a year to do that for you. Like, we're smart people. Like, we can do it ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, the various different ones you are going to pay. I think there's 0.5 government stealth tax on going in, which you can't avoid, and then there's monthly payments or as a percentage. So you're always going. Yeah, so you're always going to be paying in.
Not if you just do stocks or buy Bitcoin. You're still using the government. You're still using the old financial model. Eventually, you'll get out of that as well, and then you'll be even freer.
Yeah,
that's good news. So we've done Brazil,
and so I think this is going to be a running theme throughout all the pods that we ever do. You'll see it's like a character, isn't it? The character starts off super safe, and then all of a sudden, Dr. Evil 10% will be all in, all the way.
Oh, actually, it reminds me of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
He started off as the crappy chemistry teacher.
Yeah.
And by the end, he's going to be a drug lord smashing people. Like, why are you not on a Bitcoin standard? Smashing their head into the table.
What's the line? It's like, I fear the day when someone knocks on our door. I'm the one who knocks the doors.
Exactly.
I'm the one that knocks.
Yeah.
Heisenberg. That would have been a good name for you, actually, Heisenberg. You even look like him as well.
Yeah.
You think that I look like everyone who's bald?
Yeah.
man of mystery.
You just need a little hat.
And here's a cat to accompany. So I've got my persona.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right. Should we move on to so that's great country news. It's crazy, right? Argentina, Turkey, Brazil, bang.
Yeah.
They're all countries that need Bitcoin, all on the list. Then we got some more probably on the ground stuff, but it's good. Like Jack Dorsey is. Yeah,
it's great that he's out of Twitter because the kind of stuff which he's coming out with, you're going, this is a person who's going to drive Bitcoin forwards.
I think, previously, before, he was probably just trying to keep the shareholders happy and obviously toe the company line. But now
he was doing a full-time job, whereas his full-time job is dealing with his companies now, which isn't just Twitter, and playing out with Bitcoin, doing what he thinks is best because he's, multi-millionaire, extremely rich billionaire. Oh, is he?
Some respect on his name and that bank account. Put some B's on it. Yeah,
Twitter's worth billions. And by the way, he's actually is still CEO of Square. So before, he had the most crazy diary. I read his diary once. He published it, and he had this 50-50 day of where he was all week, where he had 2.5 days at Twitter and 2.5 days at Square. And it's just insane. And everyone said it was never going to work. He was going to fail at both. And instead, Twitter went from strength to strength, and Square is now one of the leading financial companies in the world. And he's remained as CEO of Square. So, but I think
Cash App, isn't it? Square. So yeah,
it's Cash App, yeah. And then he's plugging in all these other financial products around Bitcoin into Square, essentially, into that kind of thing. So he's building miners, hardware wallets. He's basically trying to do Cash App is a competitor to Strike, and he's keeping it real because he's just Bitcoin only. He's got a lot. He could make a lot more money if he opened it up to shit coins and all that pump and dump shit. He would make shit tons of money on the fees. He's like, no, Bitcoin only. Don't give a shit. Bitcoin only. And now, and I think this.
He's got principles.
Yeah, he believes in the long term. He doesn't want quick gains. He doesn't need it. He's so rich. He doesn't need the quick gains.
Yes, he's worth 7.8 billion.
Yeah.
And he still owns part of Twitter, 800, which is worth 850 million for that sliver.
Yeah.
Twitter's only worth 850 million.
No, that's his sliver in Twitter. Oh. So he owns a little bit of it. So I'm guessing he owned a lot more of Twitter originally.
Yeah. He probably got diluted, but yeah, I think he sold a lot off. And I think he has big Bitcoin holdings.
I was going to say, if he's the stuff which he's doing with Bitcoin, I'd say that he'll have 10% in Bitcoin.
I'd imagine,
yeah. Interestingly enough, talking of diaries as well, and I know before we came on air, we were talking about Joe Rogan. I was watching, because it's one of the few interviews that you can still watch on YouTube still, the Elon Musk interview, and he did try to actually dig into how does Musk set up his week or his day, and he didn't, at the time, I was rewatching the beginning of it, didn't really get to the bottom of it, but I would love to know how it is actually done, and successfully as well.
Musk doesn't sleep much.
Yeah. Elon's a freak. Like, there would be no point learning what Musk does, because he's a robot. He's a gigabrain. Like, the amount of information he can hold and process. So I think his answer pretty much was, I don't stop working.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally works non-stop. He'll work the weekends. He'll call people up in the middle of the night and have a paddy at them and all sorts. So,
yeah,
it's not a life which I'd ever want for myself.
When he was producing the first Teslas, he even said he slept on the factory floor. He didn't go home. It was partly he was needed there, and partly he even said he wanted to show support to the factory workers. And so they were working around the clock. He went, why should I not do that? So he just slept for 3 or 4 hours on the floor and got up and then carried on helping. It's so I think these guys, that they are just insane, and that they're super high IQ, and somehow don't need to sleep barely, and just have the drive and passion that even when the money is stupidly high and now is not even a goal, just achieving kind of human, like, generational type change just drives them. And we only get like 10 a generation or something, and they're literally our version of superheroes to a certain extent. This is, you don't try and model it, because they're up at 4:30, they go to bed at 2 a.m, they work all day, they get shit on Twitter, everyone calls them scammers and like bad names constantly. All they get is shit, but it bounces off them. They just keep going, and they just keep winning. And it's like, fair play to them, because if you like Google by Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk and just read the first couple of articles about them, they'll be probably at least 70% negative. It's just, that's just the word.
I've heard so much about Jack Dorsey. I think because he's not such a character as Elon Musk.
Oh, no one gets more press than Musk, but Dorsey gets a lot of shit for the censorship on Twitter, and I think that's probably the biggest reason why he threw it in, because he just went, I don't want to do the censorship, but if I don't allow it, then the company gets shut down and Twitter's no longer there. So I think he just left and went, look, I'll build another Twitter based on Bitcoin, but I don't want to close Twitter down when leave nowhere for people to go. But this story about Jack, anyway, this is about, he set up a fund to support Bitcoin developers that are getting attacked illegally. So he's just put a load of money in. It looks like, I'm pretty sure he just put his own money in. It seems like he's not asking for donations. He didn't say where the money came from. I'm pretty sure it's his own money. And he's just put it into a fund, hired some lawyers, and gone, when the Bitcoin developers get attacked by frauds like Craig Wright for various spurious things, like, because basically Craig Wright has claimed ownership of the white paper, because he said he's Satoshi, therefore he wrote it. He's claiming ownership. So if you host the Bitcoin white paper on your website, he does a cease and desist on you and sues you if you leave it there. So, and he's also suing all the developers for changing his code, because he's copyrighted the Bitcoin code. He thinks he hasn't, but he thinks he has, because he's Satoshi. So now that they've been doing updates, like putting out SegWit on it, putting Taproot on it, all these things, he's suing them for changing his code. And demanding they roll it back and give him the million Satoshi coins that are his, even though he should already have them if he is Satoshi.
Well, yeah, you should already have them, right, dude? Like, they're yours.
And
Why
a lot
do
of
I need
this,
to give you your keys back? They're in your pocket.
exactly. And a lot of this is like, it's just all it is noise. All he's doing is distracting developers. None of these cases have any merit. But when a lawsuit comes through your door, you have to answer it. Otherwise, you have to you lose on default. So it's very stressful. These are developers that aren't used to court cases and doing all this type of bullshit. They just want to sit quietly and code on Bitcoin. And fair play to Jack, he stepped in and gone, I'm going to be the buffer. When these dickheads come to you with these crappy lawsuits and you can't afford and don't want any noise, forward it to me. I'll handle it. I give it to the lawyers. They'll tell them to fuck off and I'll fund it. You crack on developing. So I love it. Like, fair play.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just put a fund together to kill her? Someone like Craig Wright.
Yeah.
Maybe. Kind of like Ghislaine, if she dies in the next month or so, it'd be too obvious, right?
Yeah.
Because we had that case where he basically stole a load of Bitcoin off one of the former Bitcoin developers by getting hold of the PC. And the court ordered him to pay a lot of money to this developer's family. I'm guessing that hasn't been settled yet. So I was guessing that this would probably make Craig Wright go quite quiet because was it 100 million or something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
I think it was like 500 million. It was a lot. It might have been 100 million. Yeah, it was a lot. I don't think he's paid yet. I think he's appealing.
Yeah, but that's going to distract him completely now.
Well, the problem is he is just like he has hundreds of lawsuits out at any one time. He just loves it, and because he's rich, he has an army of lawyers doing this for him. He gets off on it. He's a fucking psychopath. He doesn't even care if he wins or loses. He just likes disrupting Bitcoin because he's bitter that we don't believe he's Satoshi, and he's just a nasty piece of work.
I was going to say, but Satoshi, from everything which you said, didn't want attention.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. When he first came out as Satoshi on the BBC, he said, "This is my first and ever interview. I didn't want to do this. Some journalists found out that I am Satoshi, so I'm just going to admit it. Then you're never going to hear from me again. I don't want any attention." It's about 7 years after that, or 5 years after that, and he hasn't stopped chirping about the fact he's Satoshi ever since. It's like, yeah, he kind of kept up the Satoshi act for about 2 hours, and then it all just dropped. Once everyone went, "Oh, okay, you're never going to do an interview again. Bye." He's like, "No, like, come speak."
Yeah. Not actually bothered, are we?
No, but yeah, it's good that Jack Dorsey hopefully just puts 50 million into a fund, and that just protects Bitcoin developers from this nonsense lawsuits that just distract them. Because there's been numerous high-profile Bitcoin developers actually have been openly saying they're not going to contribute to Bitcoin anymore on Twitter. And what we think it is, some of them look legit, and I think it is because they are pretty wealthy now anyway, and they've had a lawsuit come through from Craig Wright, and it is basically a cease and desist. So if you just stop developing on Bitcoin, then the lawsuit goes away, because he can't kind of do you for previous stuff because he never warned you about it. It's any future stuff now you're liable.
Yeah.
How does he find who the developers are?
Well, they're all on GitHub and on Twitter as well.
Okay.
And some people have their real names. Sometimes they don't have their real names. It's just random codes, but the random code corresponds to a Twitter one, and you can DM a lawsuit to that, and then he basically he's demanding to know your real identity. If you don't reveal it, he'll go to Twitter and say you're breaking the law, and potentially Twitter would reveal it. You never know.
Even Twitter would surely turn around and go, "Get fucked, Craig Wright."
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You'd hope so, but you just never know.
Do you want to move on to the mining story?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, let's keep on.
I mean, so this is one where someone started Bitcoin mining, and they, I want to say it's just a couple of days, and they got a block reward. So this is a bit of to me, it seemed like winning the national lottery or something. it just seemed like, this isn't the story which you should follow. You should go into a pool because then you can share a reward. So with this kind of stuff, like, it is absolute blind luck from what I interpreted from the story.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this, and I think we covered it just last week, because you could be doing all of this mining and then never actually get a block because there's somebody in a different country that has more hash rate power than you do. But I guess as and when you finally do get that block, you've made it, right?
Oh yeah, well, the miner would have cost him anything between 5 and 10 grand for that miner. And yeah, he literally had it plugged in for less than a week, according to the stats. And he went and banged out a $267,000 block reward. But yeah, I think it says in here that's well over. I think it's like 100,000 to 1 or something. Odds on this. So the odds are, if you plug in one miner and run it for 100,000 10-minute segments, which I've no clue what time frame that is, but I'd imagine it's a number of years. The odds are you never find a block. So you've just spent 5 or 10 grand and you've received nothing in return. But hey, he plugged it in. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised, actually. He probably plugged it in and was in the process of getting it into a pool. And before he managed to figure out how to get it into a pool, it went and found the block. And he had 6.25 Bitcoin sat in his miner. He's like, holy shit. And now, if I was this guy now, I'd be like, now I'll plug it into the pool and make a couple of grand a month off it. And it will just keep ticking because I've already won the lottery. I'm probably not going to win it twice. So now I might as well pool it.
Yeah.
It's fair play, man. And this just shows you, like, obviously I must admit, even when I got in, I thought mining was done. It was now a business. Unless you've got millions of pounds to invest into mining, it's probably not worth it. But hey, there's these little stories that keep popping up. If you do have, it's still a rich guy's game. Let's not get it twisted. It's 5 to 10 grand per miner. But if you can get one or two of them, get them plugged in, hey, the lottery is just sat there. It's the real lottery. There's no.
Well, I was going to say, maybe is this the new lottery of the future?
Yeah. What the ticket's 10 grand.
Yeah. It's a different type of syndicate, isn't it? Though.
Yeah. Maybe you can pull together for a single miner, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can pull together.
Yeah, get 10 of you.
Conversation after this.
Yeah.
Mrs. No Show doesn't need to show for this. He just needs to give us a little bit of cash, right?
Yeah.
I have to pull out the Starbucks fund.
Yeah. I spoke to him yesterday. He's off Starbucks.
Is he?
What, has he gone to Costa?
No. He's got off to Weight Watchers.
He hasn't, really?
Yeah. No. He's just on a diet.
That's what everyone's doing.
I was going to say, let's wait till the end of January and find out what his loyalty card says about Starbucks.
Yeah, it'd be a good New Year's resolution if he only goes to Starbucks like once or twice a month. That'd be good.
What? Just once a week.
I'm pretty sure he's on a 1 to 2 day habit at the moment. So
I think he's I think from all accounts he's down. Maybe we should confiscate his card. That would be
demand an extract of his Revolut card. Thinking about logically moving on, we've just been talking about mining. Is it worth looking at the FUD story? So Mr. Orlin, you sent round a link to a video, and also had an article as well, which is just the same stuff, which was just a load of FUD, wasn't it, thrown in?
Yeah. It's a really good one as well, because I think for anybody listening, and even for myself as well, you can come to Pod 39, and when somebody hits you with the energy FUD, boom, send it to them.
Yeah, and the main way that they're misrepresenting the argument at the moment is they think that each Bitcoin transaction costs energy.
Yeah.
So they're assuming that, there's X amount of transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain right now. There's only 200 million people using it. If we extrapolate that out over 8 billion, then it's going to bore the oceans. It's completely wrong. like that isn't going to happen, because essentially the amount of energy that secures the Bitcoin network right now is about the amount of energy it needs. If you put more on, it's not profitable for the miners to run. So you have to unplug them. So it's kind of like find its happy medium. And that's about where we are right now. Yeah. So if the transaction volume just went up by 100, 1000x and 8 billion people started using it, the energy stays the same. We're still 0.1% of the overall energy. Whereas Elizabeth Warren and all her other COVID Karen bullshit modelists have plugged this in and they just have this exponential chart. And it's even like their FUD is so obviously provably wrong, because it even says in here, like if Bitcoin carries on doing what it did, I think they said this back in 2017, they said by 2020, Bitcoin is on the way to consume all of the world's energy, because they just did the classic little chart of Bitcoin's energy going up. But they didn't realize it wasn't going to keep going up exponentially. It was new. It was a new technology, just like mapping, the internet's energy use. It's like it's going to go up, but then it plateaus, doesn't it, once it reaches kind of mass adoption. And it's
what I took from this, because in 2017 they said that by 2020 we're going to use all the world's energy for Bitcoin. Yeah. So it's actually Bitcoin's fault about the energy crisis, about why petrol and gas has gone up so much. That's what I took away from it.
2020 is come and gone. Instead, we had a different crisis. So Bitcoin swerved that. So what's going to be the new FUD? Because there's been so much FUD. And obviously, for regular listeners and viewers, we have FUD of the week every week. And all 39 have been debunked.
So some stats from this, it's less than gold mining. And it's also the known gold mining, because there's a lot hidden behind the scenes which no one knows about, hence why the reserves for every gold mining company are going up more than just the 2% which they say they produce a year.
Yeah.
Then we've got 56, well, their estimate is 56% of energy used for Bitcoin mining is sustainable. So that's a really good stat to pull out, and that's an estimate. So obviously not accurate. And this is because in order for a miner to be profitable, it has to either be for excess energy or things like, the example in El Salvador where they're going to use a volcano to generate cheap energy, something which they can get it from. So it's close to source, and that's, where it comes from. It's the leftover. Otherwise, when it's being squeezed, you end up with more energy getting more and more expensive, thus it's not profitable to actually run Bitcoin miner.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. The majority of the Bitcoin energy that's being used is energy that wouldn't have existed if Bitcoin mining didn't exist. Like they're plugging miners in places like Alaska, Serbia, the Ukraine, just places like they're listing like the Amazon and all sorts. This is places where no one wants to harvest the energy. No one lives there. So they're plugging in miners, and what they're doing is adding up all the energy and assuming, that could have powered some cancer machine in a hospital. You're like, no, I'm in the middle of fucking Serbia, mate. I'm taking natural gas out the ground, harvesting it, using the natural cold to cool the miners. Like, no one was using this stuff. No one. So even if Bitcoin ends up being like 99% of the world's energy, it's a case of, it's just that we created a shit ton more energy that no one was using. So it's not like they're competing. Like if you could never do Bitcoin mining competitively on a mass scale in a city, because energy prices are too expensive. You wouldn't be profitable.
It's what Bukele's planning for the inactive volcano in El Salvador. So I think we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's it's a perfect example. That's a massive volcano spitting out shit tons of thermal energy, and it's going nowhere. It's going off into the atmosphere, and he's going, no, let's harness that and let's power some Bitcoin miners. And the hilarious thing is that energy will now be tagged on to the overall energy use of Bitcoin and used against us as, you're boiling the oceans. It's like, no, like that volcano was going to pump out heat whether we plugged it into miners or not.
So what you're saying is Bitcoin is going to cause a volcanic eruption in El Salvador and take down America.
The last bit's true, but we are taking down America.
I mean, looking at it logically, so we kind of got all the FUD, which we always say about electricity, but say a bit of electricity is used. What is that in the kind of grand scheme of things when you're trying to sort out all the problems which are caused by fiat? So making people poorer each year, the health insurance issue in America, poverty in Africa, even poverty in the UK and America, which is forced by inflation. Argentina, El Salvador, as it was before, Brazil, Turkey. What's a little bit of electricity to sort that mess out?
I know.
There won't be ATMs. There won't be lots of companies running financial institutions like banks, like we have at the moment. There'll be Bitcoin mining, nodes, apps.
Yeah, but that was also one of the other ones where another FUD, wasn't it? Where people say, "Oh, yeah, but what happens if the internet shuts off? Then there'll be no Bitcoin, and then there'll be nothing else as well."
Fiat is fucked if the internet goes off.
Well, yeah.
How much cash does anyone have in the house anymore?
Yeah, I got my penny jar. But Jack Dorsey had a good take on all this, and he's just gone, like, humans have created more and more energy usage as we've evolved and got better, and as we've improved and essentially evolved. So we should kind of celebrate more uses of energy, because like humans don't just waste energy for no reason. Like, it has to be profitable and there has to be a reason behind it. Otherwise, you just waste a load of energy, then it goes away quite quick if it's not profitable and isn't adding value to the world. So that's the natural evolution of stuff. Like, we are going to continue to use more energy as human beings. It's just a fact. We just need to figure out better ways of creating that energy, which is why we always come back to, if they really cared about climate change, really cared about energy usage, we just all plug over to nuclear energy and this would all go away.
Well, if they really cared, they wouldn't all be flying around on private jets. Like, let's have something about climate change. What was it, COP26? How'd you all get here? We each had our own private jet, and we overran the Glasgow, so we had to use Edinburgh, and we had to use another airport.
All during the middle of a pandemic when everyone's locked at home.
To finish with as well, who the fuck are Janet Yellen and Elizabeth Warren to tell us what to do? What interest do they have in the world going forwards? They're almost dead.
All I know is that's a lesbian film I want to watch. Someone needs to make a porn parody of that.
That's definitely going to get us banned. That's the one. That's going to be the tipping point.
I don't know.
That's lame.
Who gives a fuck about that?
Yeah. Should we move on to UFC?
Yeah.
Do you want to take it to have a look?
Yeah, why not? So Francis Ngannou has finally found Bitcoin. So it was a couple of weeks ago where we talked about the number of NFL players and the NBA player as well that are requesting to be paid in Bitcoin. And Francis Ngannou, he's the heavyweight champion of the world currently within UFC, looking to take half of his purse in Bitcoin. I think we've covered it slightly over the course of the past couple of weeks, where Africa is a nation set up really to use Bitcoin, and I'm sure Jack will be getting over to there because again, they are mobile first, so I can see the Strike app working perfectly for them.
There's a large proportion of banked, aren't there? I mean,
large, definitely.
So it definitely fits a profile. So I saw this article. I was like, I've got no idea who he is. I don't follow UFC at all. But then, moving towards Bitcoin, he's saying, my people are saying it's a good idea to be paid in Bitcoin. So he's based in the US somewhere, I'm guessing for training purposes. But he's from Cameroon originally.
Yeah. He's literally from the mines. He literally dug sand, and then he's a relatively big fella, and he moved to, he kind of like, I'm not sure whether he emigrated legally or illegally. He ends up in Paris, homeless, living on the street, but then just falls into a UFC gym. And he's quite old when he gets there. I think I'm not sure how old he is, Francis, but like usually when you're a UFC fighter, you get in when you're a teenager, rolls into a UFC gym, starts training and just starts smashing people to pieces. And fast forward 3, 4, 5 years, he's right at the top of the game in the best MMA promotion there is, the UFC, the best weight division where the highest profile is the heavyweight. And so yeah, and he is the champ. He fights on Saturday. So the purse he's talking about is Saturday. He's defending his title. There's actually a big debate between him and Dana right now about his pay. He's not very happy about how much he gets paid and all that. And he's even talking right now, Tyson Fury has offered him out for a fight where they've said they will do 2 fights. No, he'll do a boxing fight with Francis, but with UFC gloves. And Francis is going, I'll do whatever you want, mate, because you can just tell he just wants the money, and he knows it's a massive money fight. But yeah, he's in this tweet. He says Bitcoin is the future, and I'm a believer.
So kind of, I know it's not Bitcoin, but he's up for fighting Fury. Yeah. He's saying, would that be just boxing? I don't know what kind of fighter Francis is. Is he a?
He is a striker. Yeah, he's a big, heavy-handed striker. But yeah, he'll get schooled by Fury. Fury will dance around him, poke him off, get him tired. But the only slight thing that Tyson's given him is smaller gloves. So if he does get him, like obviously with boxing gloves, it's always if I get you. But even a glancing blow in UFC gloves could put Tyson down. Francis is a beast. He's known as the Predator. He just runs at you and smashes you in the face. Like there's not a lot of like Tyson's super technical and like really dodging and moving. No technique with Francis. It's a little bit sloppy, but he's just a beast. He will run at you, plow you in the face as many times as he can. And so far, everyone in the UFC has just gone down.
He's 35 and he weighs 113 kilograms. He's an absolute monster.
Yeah. He would. Yeah, he would like, even Tyson, I'm sure, would be a bit like, even if he's in a boxing ring, he's going to be wary of him. He's a big fella. Like.
If Kamaru Usman hadn't taken the Nigerian Nightmare moniker, then it could easily fit for Ngannou.
Yeah. So I like the Predator though as well. The Predator's good.
He started fighting in 2013. So he would have been roughly 27.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, super late for a fighter to start there. He had a hard upbringing, right? He's come up in a country with no opportunity. He was literally in the mines, shoveling sand. Goes to Europe to hope for a better life. Ends up homeless, and then a couple of years later, starts fighting. And he's worked all the way to the top.
So quick wiki, he started training in boxing at 22.
Okay. So that's good actually. I didn't know that.
Well,
he actually has a bit of a boxing background. That's hopeful. But the thing is though, his technique in boxing is shit. So striking's not pretty, it's just heavy.
He headed to Paris when he was 26 to take up professional boxing.
Yeah.
It's kind.
Yeah. The thing is, I think he's already realizing that, because he's obviously getting on. He knows he's only got a couple of years left until he's
exactly.
And so he's trying to maximize his money, and now he's already thinking, once I've maximized the money coming in, I need to maintain it and store the value for the next 60 years.
Yes.
He found Bitcoin.
What's the purse? So what's for his fight? Do you know?
Yeah, he's been quite public. It's about 600 grand and he is livid. He wants millions. And Dana signed him on an 8-fight deal for 600 grand for every fight. And ever since he became champ, he didn't up it. And Francis is super pissed, which is why this is his last fight on Saturday of his contract. Although Dana has also been clever, because if you defend your title, if your first defense is your last fight, then there's another fight automatically added on. So Francis is like really pissed about this. He didn't realize that's
and it's against a very worthy opponent as well. So potentially
he might lose.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, exactly.
Although the fight with Tyson will be much bigger if it is the UFC heavyweight champ against the boxing heavyweight champ. That's correct. Because this is always the thing, isn't it? That's the only reason why it's interesting. Is because obviously if a boxer comes over to UFC, there's no point. They're obviously going to lose. But the UFC fighter kind of has a puncher's chance of knocking out a boxer, because we know a boxer's going to get submitted, right? He's just going to choke him out.
Or a kick,
no chance.
or
anything. A kick to the head, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's never really happened, has it? Ever, I don't think. Like the heavyweight of the UFC and the heavyweight of boxing actually going toe to toe and actually blending the rules as well, where it's not just 100% boxing. Like change the gloves up. It makes it interesting, and it'll like they'll both make 100 million off that fight.
Yeah, because you had Conor McGregor versus Mayweather, and that was hundreds of millions, wasn't it? Because they were, you know, for someone who's not really into either sport, you had Mayweather, the biggest ever boxer, and then Conor McGregor, the biggest in UFC as well.
Yeah, so I think it would sell similar to that, because then both of their names probably aren't quite as big as Mayweather and Conor, but they're the biggest guys. Everyone likes a heavyweight. Heavyweights are fun because you just never know. It's always they're one punch away from going down, aren't they?
I'd be quite intrigued to watch this one because like, I've never heard of Francis before, but looking at it on Google, I'm a bit scared.
I'll send you the 2-minute. I sent it to you tonight. So never look. I sent you the 2-minute promotional clip of the fight on Saturday between Francis and Cyril. And oh my God, it gets you pumped. And I even showed it to my missus and I was like, just watch this and just tell me what you think. And she was like, I can't wait to watch the fight. And she doesn't like fighting. Like the build up is epic. Like you'll be staying up till 5 a.m. to watch the fight on Saturday.
I just look at him. He's just like
on that mountain.
Waiting to watch his highlight reel. It's even scarier. The guy fucking kills guys. Like,
and the guy he's fighting, which is interesting, is undefeated as well.
Yeah, and was in the same Paris gym that Francis found. They were ex-training partners.
Oh, God.
So it's even got that link where they know each other, and he's also just as big, just as threatening. But I'd actually say he's more of a Tyson Fury type fighter. He's smarter. Yeah. He's got a brain. Francis is just a fucking bulldozer. Cyril is I can bulldoze you, but I'm not going to do it if I don't have to. I'll dance around, get you tired, and then submit you. But yeah, that's another sports star coming into Bitcoin. We predicted it, didn't we?
Yep, that's the one.
It's an interesting one, but I like to see him, obviously take more than just one fight. But then again, I suppose with what's going on with his contract, he's got to wait to see what happens.
Yeah. And in reality, like, he doesn't have to be paid in Bitcoin. Like, just accept it in fiat and then convert it.
Exactly. Yeah, just convert it.
But it's a bit of a public statement, and it is a bit of a sell, isn't it? It's like, you should all get into this because I'm looking at this, and he's got his influence.
Should move on to a different sports star, but for a very different reason. In Shitcoin Corner.
We can indeed.
I fucking hate Louis
It's interesting as well. Just before we go on to that, sorry. Obviously, it's in my name, so never look. But that clock's going up as we're on.
Oh, 42.
Yeah, it was low 41s before when we started.
Up $1,000, eh? People must be listening into the live stream that doesn't exist.
It's like Francis.
Be a brave person that doesn't.
So this story, first of all, what the hell is FMAX? I tried looking the Shitcoin Corner. Oh no, it's not FMAX. It was EMAX, was what we call it.
Oh no, that's the Mayweather and Kim Kardashian one.
Yeah,
I thought we were talking about sports stars.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, I was moving on to Suarez. Oh, actually, yeah, they're both Shitcoin Corners actually have sports stars.
You're right.
Well, I think I may have missed the other one.
Yeah, I did one today of Luis Suarez in there as well. But yeah, okay, let's do ETH Max. Yeah, ETH Max was massive in last year's Bitcoin conference in Miami. So Floyd tried to go on stage with Ethereum Max on his T-shirt.
Yes.
And the Bitcoin conference guys went, you can't wear that. So he had to change his T-shirt. But it was still all over his social media. It was all over Kim's social media. They obviously spent an absolute fortune because these are the top guys, right? If you want influencers, Floyd and Kim are pretty much number one and number two, I guess. So they've spent...
Sure, as well. This was not long or the same weekend of when Floyd fought as well.
Logan, yeah. He fought Logan.
Yeah.
I think he went to the Bitcoin conference on Friday and was fighting Logan on the Saturday.
That's it, yeah.
And he was shilling ETH Max everywhere he went.
Yeah.
He was obviously paid a lot of money because otherwise, why would he do it?
It's all for the money.
But now he's getting sued for shilling a scam because the coin has gone down 97% since they showed it.
It was a rug pull, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was.
Because it was an Instagram post or something where Kim Kardashian said, "Oh yeah, they're burning 50% of the supply," and that was, obviously what she got paid for, and then they pulled it even more.
Yeah. It went down 80% in 11 days, and then over last year, ultimately 97% down. So yeah, it was just a classic. It's a pump and dump. This is, when people talk about Bitcoin being a pump and dump, this is a pump and dump, right? So you create a coin. They're obviously wealthy people already. They spend 10, 20, 30 million on getting a load of influencers to support it.
Do you even need to create a coin, or do you just create the facade?
No, you do need the coin because you need to have it trading, because you need to be able to dump it. So it needs to be listed on one of these exchanges, and you need to get a load of more ones to buy the coin. So they need to be able to buy it from somewhere as well. So, because then they're buying it off you, right? You've got the entire fucking supply anyway. You set the price, they buy it off you. You still have a shit ton of money. So you make a load of money from the sales of all the fans coming in. You still have 90% of the supply. And once you think that you've spent all the money on Kim and Floyd, you watch for the rise in price, and then you just dump it on their heads. And it's over. Classic pump and dump. Because they never come back. A pump and dump means it never comes back. Like, this price will never get it back. It's like Dink Doink and all those.
What are you telling me that Dink Doink won't ever come back?
Yeah.
There'll be a graveyard of all of these coins. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like people don't learn.
Yeah.
Like, time and time again, we've named them all. Cum Rocket, Monkey Jizz. They all.
Has Cum Rocket not got an actual purpose? Isn't it like used in the porn industry or something?
I don't know what it was. I didn't even give it enough time to look into it.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's 80-90% down by now.
Yeah.
It had its day because it was funny. But things can only be funny for so long, right? It's like Dogecoin. Dogecoin down 80% since its all-time high now.
Yeah.
It's like, it can only be a meme for so long. It's that
Squid Game coin as well, right? It was up for a minute and then down. Never can come back.
The Squid Game, I think, got the record where I think it went down 99% in like an hour.
Yeah, you literally had the shortest pump and dump, didn't it, really?
Yeah. The controversial thing, like, probably, or the weird conversation take for me is that I don't believe Floyd or Kim should get sued. They should be able to pump whatever shit coins they want. And if you buy it, it's on you. There's a stupidity tax. So, like, the guy that's doing it is he was misled by Kim Kardashian and Floyd's social media, and he invested in something. He's lost 97% of what he put in, and he wants a refund. No.
Doesn't work like that.
No, I agree that they shouldn't have done it, but they did. So all I know now is I don't trust Floyd or Kim. Pretty much anything they say, I know they're being paid. So take it with a pinch of salt. Don't trust, verify. And
the thing is, we knew this before.
Yeah,
Mayweather promotes everything which he can.
Yeah,
and why the fuck would you be taking financial advice from Kim Kardashian? But I guess if you are investing in stuff what she is telling you to invest in, I think you need a good hard look at yourself.
It's interesting you say that, though, because throughout his career, he hasn't actually taken that many endorsement deals, Floyd. No, it was only towards the end. But, I think he could be, strangely enough, even richer had he have done so. Towards the end, he was getting sponsored by Hublot. He always wore Reebok, but was never actually sponsored by Reebok. Never sponsored by Nike. Obviously made his own clothing line. But it's interesting, obviously, now, towards the end of the career, obviously want to continue to live that lifestyle. So now they'll shill stuff. But I totally agree. You make your own choices. And it's not like they're from a technical background or a technical stance where they actually knew what the coin was actually doing either. It's just a face.
I suppose, it's like, do either of them have that financial investment background, where they are making reams of money, or they, I don't know, Ray or what's his name?
Ray Dalio or Warren.
Yeah, Warren Buffett, no. Are they a technical genius? Are they Elon Musk? No.
But does the average, I guess, Gen X, Gen Z look at them and just think, well, they're rich? They don't actually think about the purpose or the behind the scenes of how they actually got rich. They just think, oh well, if they're doing it, I'll do it, and just follow it.
But then they need the life lesson, don't they? You can't protect everyone from everything.
Absolutely.
if they go and punch someone like Francis, what's his name?
And
say, oh yeah, someone slap him, so I thought I'd do it too.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I can guarantee, like, Kim and Floyd are probably really good investors, but they probably pay someone else to do it for them, and they don't reveal any of that. This is, it's just
they'll be having they will have someone who invests for them, who's the type of person who you would want to pay a pension with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they probably do okay for them, because all you want when you're that rich, you just probably want to keep it. So if you're just beating inflation, then you're good. Like, you're rich. You
just want to maintain your lifestyle of 10 million per year.
Yeah, and people like Floyd, like, they just need to invest money to keep it away from them, because they'll gamble it away or spend it on fast cars. So just put it in the market just to hide it, so it's a little bit away from you. You need to make a phone call to get it, and that's far enough away from you to be safe.
I mean, no, don't forget, these guys would get paid just to tweet a tweet.
Yeah.
So that's how quick. That's how quick they can get money. So, I don't think that they're that fussed about a coin.
I know, of course, yeah. That's the thing, right? It's not even. I wouldn't trust their advice on investing anyway. But this isn't even their advice. It's a paid post.
Yeah. So it did say in the article that Kim Kardashian did put something in, which is a tag saying it is a paid post.
Yeah. It completely absolves them of any responsibility. So this court case will just fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, so I think I've got two views on this. It's one, it'd be nice to get people punished for making these kind of scams, and two, it's just like some people just need to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
Wow. So I just did a quick search in terms of Kim Kardashian's estimated cost per post, $910,000.
Insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think she makes one a day.
She makes one advertised post a day.
I think so.
So she's making like 300 million off tweets, are you saying?
Yeah. And
tweets to Instagram. Yeah, Instagram.
I didn't think she was that rich.
Oh, she is.
She's
a billionaire.
Followers, isn't it, though?
She's a billionaire.
Not necessarily as well, yeah.
Because the thing is, like, her audience are actually super engaged. Like, whatever she promotes, like, it just goes mental. So
yeah,
like this Beef Max thing, they'd have probably paid her like 5-10 million for this. It's
1.2 billion as a net worth.
Yeah. It'll be worth even more if she gets half of Kanye's.
yeah.
He's a multi-billionaire, isn't
he? Yeezys.
Yeah. He just had a new song out, actually, and he talks about buying the house next door.
What, to the missus?
Yeah. No, house next door to Kim. So,
yeah.
So even though they're divorced, and then the next line goes something along the lines of, "What the hell is it? What's the point in being rich for? Basically, if I can't buy the house next door."
Oh, that's the ultimate troll, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's trying to move on with a new fella, and he just buys the street. He's like, "I'm all your neighbors."
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to Luis Suarez?
Yeah, it's a weird one. This was like weirdly. This was like some weird promoted tweet that I saw. Because it's quite old. It's like 19 weeks ago that Luis Suarez put this on his Instagram. But he's just basically promoting a shitcoin called Leaf Tea. And I don't even know, but their whole proposition, it reminds me of the shitcoin that was Save the Kids.
Wasn't it safe for gorillas or something like
That's another one. But I remember.
that? Fucking hell. I remember one of them. They untangled it and found out no money went to any charity.
Oh, of course. None of the money goes to charity.
It's all just bollocks. It was never going to go to charity.
It's just going to reward the founders. That's what happens to all shit coins.
Is Leafy dead now? What's the price of it?
No, it's actually doing all right. I think I checked their Twitter account, and they though you can check the price, but it's still alive. I don't think it's completely dead, but it's obviously a scam, right? But their whole concept is, if you buy and sell Leafy, each time you do it, you lose some of the money and it goes to them, and they reckon they're going to somehow save the planet. A load of environmental projects will just get funded. And you just go, what kind of use case is that? Like, if I want to donate, I'll donate. Like, I don't want to have a money that every single transaction, there's like an environmental tax on it. And I've got to trust you to actually do legitimate stuff. And in every video, I went on their little Twitter, every video uses the classic clips of like a dying seal, like an elephant. It's just like the classic clips from, you can tell they've already nicked it from some other charity's website. And they don't even say what they're going to do. They just go, we're going to save the planet. Look at this seal. Like, what are you talking about? What about the seal? Like, I feel sad for the seal, but what are you going to do to help the seal?
Did you not say, are you going to eat that? I'm looking at the price chart. It peaked around about 45 cents, and then it crashed down, went down to around about 15 cents, and kind of like went a bit further down to 5 cents, and then it had a bit of a resurgence, and it hit back up to 32 cents, and then it's currently on, what's that, about 31. So it's a bit of a weird one, because it looked like it was your classic kind of everyone's pulling their money out gradually, so it's not so apparent. Then it has had a resurgence. But then, like you said, how on earth do you prove what work they're doing? It says listing for Binance soon.
Yeah, it's you know, when that's its big headline. Like, if it honestly had a proper timeline, it would be about to roll out some kind of reserve in the Amazon. You know, proper projects that are going to help the environment. Instead, it's going to pump the coin by listing on another exchange. But that's not going to help the planet. It's going to pump the price potentially, because there's a whole new section of customers that can buy your shit coin. But
so that's why it pumped today, is why it's gone up to 32 cents, is because it's going on Binance. So it'll be interesting to see if they really pull it once it goes onto Binance, because that's when you're going to see more interest potentially.
Yeah, I saw an article today. I didn't put it in the show notes, but that the FCA will have more power to stop people from promoting their shit coins, basically. Something along the lines of, like, you know, the Floyd and the Kim Kardashian piece, to ensure that people don't just fall into it. But again, people just need to trust and not verify. Verify, don't trust, and really look into it, as opposed to just, sounds good, I'm going to get on the next wave.
Because it always worries me when I hear the FCA doing stuff like that, just because I always think, where's it going to go? Like, because they'll bundle in, Bitcoin is included.
Oh yeah, all the time. Of course,
they'll accidentally group too much in.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. And
it's like, okay, you kind of stopped the scams, but you didn't really care about the scams. You just wanted to stop Bitcoin promotion. Now no one can talk about Bitcoin. Like,
correct. Or use the C word of cryptocurrencies. All cryptocurrencies are a scam. Like, and obviously that couples in Bitcoin with it again as well.
Yeah, it's why I'm a fan of, like, not having these people sued or stopped from doing it. Like, no, let them do it. You're an idiot. You've only been idiot once, hopefully, and then we'll move on.
Idiot tax.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Plenty of people be idiots plenty of times. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second the regulators get involved, I always get scared, because, like, they're going to come in. We need, like, a nail put in, and they just smash your house down. Like, what you've done, you just broken so many things, and now a lot of legitimate projects can't talk about what they do. It's like why Bitcoin was banned on Facebook and Google.
Oh yeah.
Just to be advertised, like Coinbase and stuff, and things like Strike and Square couldn't advertise their Bitcoin part of their product just because all of crypto got bundled into the same thing as, oh, too many of our customers are getting scammed, so we're going to ban it all. It's taken years for that to get undone. So when I hear that, I'm like, oh, here we go. They're going to ban it all again.
Classic.
We talk about inflation, and we always talk about it.
But you'd never ask.
It's the official figure seems to be creeping up all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah. So inflation is now at 7% apparently, and therefore we're getting closer and closer to the truth. So the clean inflation.
We're not.
We're not.
It's just,
we'll never
it's just
get to the truth.
The inflation figure, like you see it gradually coming as it filters down the supply chain, don't you? So it's only reaching its levels, but as the rule as usual, you're saying we're getting close to the figure, but when they're saying 7%, it's somewhere between 14 and 21. But if you go, oh yeah, we're getting close to it because we've hit 10, but when they say, oh, we've hit 10% inflation, well, actually it's 20 or 30 now. It's just, you got to remember that equation.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, in proportion. But they are, at least for the first time, actually, they're actually giving out numbers that are super high. They were, for the last couple of years, they've just been lying, saying it's between 2 and 4. And
but that's super high because the actual number is really fucking high.
Yeah.
But as well, we've got to remember, and I guess not a lot of people do look into this. They just read the headline figure of the fact that the CPI number of where it comes from changes because the basket of goods change all the time. You know, oh, let's not include this, let's include this. And so it's never really a true reflection of what the actual inflation will be or is.
I think I saw an article around, there's an investigation in the US about house inflation because house prices gone up by over 25%.
And then what they're going to investigate.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we've printed money supply. Yes. We've got the answer.
Yeah, exactly. Your answer is going to be pretty short to get to.
Oh yeah, I forgot we did this.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like in the article, though, they still try and play it down and say that in 1980, inflation was 14.8%. So we're nowhere near the historical peak of inflation. Just to try and again.
Was that real inflation figure in the 80s, or was that before they tweaked the formula?
It was actually 1980, like bang on. So that might actually be. So that actually probably is a real number. So
we're beating that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was actually a real inflation number. It wouldn't surprise me actually. That probably suddenly all kind of plays into, makes it all make sense. 1980, they had 14.8%, and they went, fuck, everyone's getting scared. They're exiting the dollar. We need to edit how we count inflation to get this down, because to secure everything. And then suddenly from 1980, it plummeted to nearly zero. It was like 1 or 2% inflation by like late 80s, which is that legit? Or did they just suddenly edit the formula for the basket of goods?
What's going to be on the shopping basket? Is it going to be cheap mass manufactured shit, plastic shit from China? Oh yeah, we've got this Pikachu figure in the basket this year. And this wind up cuckoo.
Yeah, it was $1 last year, and it's $1.02 this year. 2% inflation.
Yeah. Are they going to tell us the real deal that's in there? And is there, and I'm sure there probably is, where there'll be something that's constant in the basket, and maybe you could, along the months, look at all of the things that, okay, this has been in the basket 3 times in the 12-month period, so you can start to get a figure of what those changes are.
They leave things such as grains in the basket because they subsidise farmers for those. Yeah. But then I guess it's not really a true figure of what the inflation will be then. Exactly. It's basically.
Well, they even admit in here, like I didn't realize the energy price of the US had gone up by so much, but it's 29.3%. They admit it in here, month on month. If you compare last December to this December, 29, so basically a third. Like that's in the difference between 1 year there. They're getting close to hyperinflation. That's 30% increase.
Ooh, I can almost taste it. Bitcoin standard in the US.
Once the
just
US gets close to Turkey like levels of inflation, like they are done.
Just put a law in. Give a piece of paper to Biden. Tell him that it says something else. He'll sign it.
You want a Bitcoin standard? What?
But I thought I was signing a bill to sniff young girls' hair.
I thought I was going to Peter Island.
I thought it was a 6 upside down.
I was going to Bill Gates' pedo party.
So we just got 2 stories left now?
I got 4.
I was going to say, yeah.
We got your question. You want to go on to your question?
Yeah, your question.
Yeah, sure. So this one, which I saw on Twitter, so I've stolen it, so I'll admit that. But so if you have just one orange pill, who'd be the person you convert?
I'd probably give it to one of the most responsiblest of the kids so that they then continue to preach to the others. I don't know which one of them is the most responsible.
Come on, which one's your favourite? Come on.
Well, I actually see that 2 out of the 3 so far, they have the ability to, delay gratification and actually listen. So probably one of those 2.
Yeah, my one would be, it's a weird one, but we just mentioned him, but it would be Joe Biden. Obviously, the guy's got dementia, but the only reason is the fact that the US dollar is the most powerful currency in the globe right now. So
they just kick him out. If he got orange pilled, they just kick him out of office and say he's got dementia.
Yeah.
But I just think, obviously, if we had a proper orange pilled president of the United States, imagine that, because obviously we can move on to this probably the next story, but we've got a Canadian politician here who is obviously orange pilled, giving great speeches and talks about how money is fucked and how we should be more sensible with our money printing. Imagine if that wasn't a low level politician in Canadian government, instead was the guy that went to every single G7, G8, the UN,
in his private jet with his what's it called, motorcade.
Yeah.
To COP26.
But imagine if we had that. Imagine if we actually, Biden's the only reason I'm saying him. There's no point orange pilling him because you'll forget tomorrow. But it's still, if he was actually orange pilled, it would be amazing to have the president of the United States orange pilled.
Yeah, how about flipping giving it to like Kim Jong-un? Yeah, so therefore the evil rises, and then they, to combat it, have to do exactly the same.
It'd be good for the price.
What about Winnie the Pooh?
Well, the same guy.
No, what's his actual name? The president or whatever he is of China.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Kim Jong-un is that North Korea?
Yeah,
he's North Korea. I've forgotten his name. I've had a complete little blank, but yeah, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Well, that would be the ultimate one. Yeah, it's either I'd pick US or China, because the amount of money they hold, obviously, because if they converted that to a Bitcoin standard, we win. And and if they stop their money printing and actually got some of these massive economies onto Bitcoin standard, it helps the most amount of people. And then it'll just cascade down.
Yeah.
Who's yours be?
I was debating it because you kind of need someone famous, you need someone with worldwide appeal. So you kind of go, we mentioned her earlier, Kim Kardashian, but then who's going to take financial advice off Kim Kardashian?
No one.
So literally you got a small segment of these devoted followers, but they're all morons. Yeah. Then you kind of got, well, who's got financial acumen? And and it kind of rules out all the sports stars because no one pays attention to the sports stars. You know, they wouldn't go, "Oh, David Beckham's investing in Bitcoin." It'd be like, he's a fucking idiot, so let's ignore him.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, someone like Kieran Gibbs gave a really good interview, no one followed him because he's a footballer.
Yeah.
And Robson, what's his name? Robson Hal Canu, no one would pay attention to him, even though apparently he's really articulate because he's a footballer. And then, like, you got Elon, too crazy. You know, people criticize him. So I was thinking, you got Jeff Bezos, is who I came to, or Bill Gates.
What about Ghislaine Maxwell?
So imagine that Bill Gates wasn't a megalomaniac and actually promote it, because you kind of think his persona is shrewd businessman, Microsoft from, you know, scratch, as the legend says. And then he is a humanitarian as well.
I don't know if he has that much sway, though, because people already see him as roots. So maybe you need somebody like that has the voice of the people, let's say, like a Martin Lewis. So not mega like celebrity status, but people trust his opinion.
I think people trust Bill Gates over the top as well, even though he does have that creepy feel around him.
Maybe pre-Melinda breakup, more so.
Yeah. And the fact he may be getting arrested soon.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
The thing is, if you did get a Biden, a Gates, or a Clinton, or a Buffett, then you do get the boomers. So then they at the moment have all the money. They have all the property, all the investments. It's all tied up in the boomers. So we either have to wait 20 years for them all to die, or one of them gets orange pilled and fucking infects the rest of them. So
yeah, people would definitely follow, obviously, a Buffett.
And then kind of like personally, as a kind of personal thing, it'd be Stevie G. But, you know, that's just the point that he played for Liverpool.
What, the Aston Villa manager?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting one. But maybe, though, because we're starting to get there with Ray Dalio, but Ray Dalio is, 72? He may be the one that gets the boomers to convert.
Yeah, he just needs to get off his shitty 1 or 5%, doesn't he?
Yeah. But that'll happen in time as the returns obviously do its job.
Yeah. All right. And then so let's move on to like the Canadian politician, because like you shared that 10-minute clip, and it's a really impressive speech. It is like a mini version of the Bitcoin standard, isn't it? It uses different examples.
Well,
but it's impressive.
Hidden in the comments, he actually does pay thanks to Saifedean.
Oh, does he?
They have a mini conversation in it because I saw Saifedean like it and comment back.
No way.
And I was like, awesome. Because I think Saifedean said, "Oh, yeah, great speech." He's like, "Oh, some great content from your books."
No way. So he
I
has
was just like legend, because we saw a speech from him, I want to say about 3 to 6 months ago, which was around inflation making people poorer. Oh no, it was where is the money coming from?
Yeah.
That's the one which this Pierre guy came from. And I was just like, he understands it. At that point, I was a bit like, he's a Bitcoiner, isn't he? He understands money too well. And then he comes out with this today. And not today, it was start of January. And I was just like, yes, this is it. Like, I sent it into our group after I watched it, I think, through Twitter. And I thought, this is brilliant. Started following him now so I can catch all his little snippets. So I think he probably has got quite a very good understanding. Well, he chooses to show his good understanding. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I was trying to find safe in the comments, but...
Have you turned your microphone off? It's a bit echoey.
No. Still, I'll bring it a bit closer. Is that better?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're back.
Cool. Yeah, I was just trying to say, I'm trying to find safe in the comments, but I couldn't. But I will subscribe to Pierre Olivier.
Yeah, he's been someone I followed for, I think it's ever since the lockdowns and stuff happened, because he's been a vocal person that's been just questioning, just asking the questions that I've had. Like there's hardly any politicians or any journalists have asked the serious questions about, you know, what damage is lockdown going to do? What damage is kind of the vaccine mandates going to do? And then during all that, obviously all the spending comes along with it. And he's just gone, where's the money coming from? Does anyone understand the implication of how much money we're printing here is going to have you say it's going to save and help the poor because they're going to be vaccinated, but what are you stealing from them in return? Like, what are they not going to have? Oh, they're going to have 20% less money to spend. Their life savings are going to go down by 20%. The price of goods are going to go up by 20%. Have we helped them? Is that a net good?
It's not just those people. I think when people say inflation, you got to think about it for the remainder of that person's life. That 20% is an impact, and it's also for all their children's and children's children and children's children. That 20% has impacted generations, and we will not have the salary adjustments which actually meet that 20% either.
Yeah.
Interesting. Jack follows him. Jack Dorsey and Stacey Herbert as well. And actually, talking of Stacey Herbert and also Max Kaiser, they are in the process of getting residency in El Salvador.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're in El Salvador. Yeah. So he must have brought a load of the bonds, because they're American through and through, but I think they've realized it, haven't they? They can see the writing on the wall. I think they've seen the authoritarian government coming. They want to get out, and fair play. El Salvador.
Sorry, where does Max Kaiser live now?
America.
They used to be in the UK for a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, he was UK. He moved to America, and then looks like El Salvador now. Because he was a London boy back in the day, but
they
moved
taking his wealth with him as well. And again, it just shows, doesn't it, the transfer of wealth across time and space super easy, as opposed to being concentrated in one place.
Yeah, I imagine it's so much more tax efficient for him. I always did wonder that. Like, why did you? He's also got huge amounts of money. He's obviously wants to buy stuff. So why would you buy it in the UK or in America? Just go to Puerto Rico, or he's obviously realized I want to go to a Bitcoin place, so he's gone to El Salvador.
Yeah,
and he'll be the freaking mayor of Bitcoin City, won't he? We'll be back. He'll be the Church of Max Kaiser.
I saw him on a show which was
having him baptize us.
Yeah, Stansbury Research with Daniela Cambone, and it's like he's looking younger every day.
That's what billions do for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Max is he's eccentric, and he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he proper gets it. So yeah, I hope they're very happy, because that's the thing. We need high profile people to go to this Bitcoin City, because people are still scared about the safety of El Salvador. So this is the whole, what we described, I think, last week about the first follower thing. We need a leader first. We need a leader to stand up and start dancing in El Salvador, Bitcoin City. Then we need a few other high profile people to go with him. And then it just goes, look, it's fine here. It's safe, good schools, good education, good way of living, tax efficient. You get to do whatever the fuck you want. No one's going to tell you what to do. And you go, oh, okay. And then before you know it, everyone's going to be rushing to Bitcoin City. I'd imagine at the moment, there's not many people moving. There's a lot of people, Bitcoiners going now on holiday, then they come back.
Yeah.
So we need some...
checking it out, really.
Yeah, you need some residents. And fair play to Max. He's one of the first high-profile people to actually move in. So,
boom.
Good lad. But then talking about orange pilling, and I'm pretty sure like Max Kaiser and Safe also did this guy, which is Jordan Peterson.
Well, he was on with Saifedean as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. So this is the podcast we were waiting for fucking months, weren't we? And I didn't think it had gone anywhere, because I think I can't remember the dates now, but I think that it was last year. They said they were going to do one. Then they filmed it in April. And then for some reason, Jordan didn't release it until like September or something. And he hadn't tweeted about Bitcoin at all in between recording and releasing. So my reading of that was he hasn't been orange pilled, because he would have spoken about it.
But he's probably just reading up on it because he's a very considered person. So I think it would have taken time for someone like that.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah. But I think he also, once he released it, I think it got so much attention. He went on another podcast straight away with another load of guys. And I think then he got into Bitcoin Twitter a little bit. And I'm pretty sure Bitcoin Twitter is completely orange-pilled him now on top of what Saifedean did.
What did he like? Did he like the memes and shit posting?
Well, exactly, because I think he does. Because this tweet from Jordan, one of the most articulate and like high IQ people on Twitter, he just went to weirdly one of the Pierre's tweets talking about why people are taking out loads of mortgages because essentially they're paying you to take money because you can loan money at 3%, but inflation is 5%, so you're basically up. He just replies, like, quote tweets this with Bitcoin fixes this.
Yes.
We've now got like, this is like a Bukalele tweet like that we last week we were surprised he was tweeting memes. Now got Jordan Peterson tweeting Bitcoin memes.
When he starts making his memes like Bukalele, then I'll be impressed. What do you make that one about that economic expert? I can't remember what he put on it, but it was legendary.
It was good. Bitcoin fixes this. That's a meme, right?
But but when he actually puts together a picture about this kind of stuff, then I'll be like, he's fully in. And he's just gone completely immature, which is completely against everything which he does.
But that's it. Yeah, I was going to say, when he does something that is immature in comparison to obviously the type of person that he is, we know we've won.
He's been broken.
Yeah, he's been broken. He drops his standards.
Yeah, it's nice because I must admit I was a bit skeptical about Jordan because even on the Saifedean podcast, he didn't seem to get it. He seemed to be questioning, not really listening, and I wasn't sure what kind of impact that Saifedean had. But like I think it's like I always say, it doesn't really matter. Even if you get it from the guy that wrote the Bitcoin Standard, you need to have multiple hits. It just needs to, like, you need to get hit once with it, let it soak in, you resist it, you get hit again. I think it's like 12 hits and you're done. If you're an intelligent person, otherwise, if you get hit 12 times, you're still not going to get it, then yeah, you're not going to make it. But if you do, like, Jordan's a smart guy, so I think Saifedean was probably maybe the 4th or 5th hit. That's like, you can't get a better one than that, right? You've got the freaking author of the Bitcoin Standard talking to you for 2.5 hours and you're asking the questions. So
yeah,
that's like the ultimate. Most people never get that. So that should count as 3 or 4 hits. And then once he's published this, Bitcoin Twitter has just fucking lambasted him.
Straight to the vein, that one, isn't it?
That's a good high, that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's a hit and a half.
And yeah, we got him. Like, once you know, like, he's not even trying to explain his point. He's just going, oh, look, mortgage rates and inflation are all over the place. He doesn't even try and rationalize it. He just goes, Bitcoin fixes this.
Yeah.
That's what we want. He's a pleb. Welcome to Plebville.
Surprised Elon isn't doing more on the Bitcoin front.
Yeah, he's gone very quiet, hasn't he?
Yeah, very quiet.
I'd imagine it's probably because Doge is 80% down. He's got a lot of people very angry with him going, what the fuck, Elon? Buy some more Doge because the price is dumped.
Yeah. Why don't you hold your company treasury in Doge?
Imagine.
Exactly. It'd be nice if he just went and dumped a load more of his company treasury in Bitcoin.
Yeah. What was it? 10%, wasn't it, of Tesla?
I'm not sure the percent. It's 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Not sure how much of a percent that was, but
yeah, it was a chunk of our treasury.
Yeah.
But he didn't go full MicroStrategy on us.
No GigaChad.
So,
go on. I was just going to say, GigaChad says he makes about 100 mil from MicroStrategy and then obviously just reinvests that. So we know that there's 100 mil coming in every year without a shadow of a doubt, if not more, because MicroStrategy is more of a household name now as well. So people want to be associated with MicroStrategy.
I was just going to say, we're down to the last story.
Yeah.
hack of the week.
There we go.
So this is one which I quickly read just now, so I haven't really got a flavour of what it is, but this is around more ETH being sold.
I haven't read this.
And it was $15 million worth from a Singapore-based platform. So it doesn't really go into how it was stolen. I mean, have we got any further details on it?
Yeah, it seems to be. So this is crypto.com. So this is the ones that advertise on UFC. I even fucking signed up to try and get some of their shitcoin so I convert it into Bitcoin, and then they scammed me because I had to buy $500 of their shitcoin before I could convert it. So I just left their $15 of their shitcoin in their wallet. Like, fuck them. They can just let it rot. I'm not going to play their games. But they are probably one of the biggest exchanges. They seem to be pumping their shitcoin really well because they're doing those types of scams where they're forcing people to buy $500 worth of their shitcoin just to get the sign-up bonus. That's all I wanted.
You couldn't buy Bitcoin through them.
I know.
You can convert it.
Literally. I could buy Bitcoin. Yeah. But to get my sign-up bonus, it says you have to buy their shitcoin. You have to buy.
So it's not even just any shitcoin, which is what I thought you meant.
Yeah, I'd be fine with buying some $500 worth of Bitcoin, taking their $15 and taking it out. That would have been fine. Yeah. But no, I had to buy their shitcoin, and I think I also had to hold it for a period of time. I'm like, I'm going to lose way more than $15 holding this shit. So I'm not risking $500 to make 15. Like, fuck off.
I think it was 180 days when I read into it.
Yeah.
So there's a long chunk of time.
Exactly. And I have no fucking clue what their coin's going to do. And I don't want to even research it. I'm not going to waste my time on it. So I just went away. But yeah, what it looks like, the extra information that came out, it looks like that their 2FA kind of process of login was hacked or intercepted in some way. So essentially other people had their username and password hacked from probably a different website, and then they've reused it on crypto.com. Then they've had their 2FA, and weirdly, this hack is almost identical to the one that happened on Coinbase. I think Coinbase lost about 15 million as well, doing the same thing, where it's always the SMS, it's always the text message one, where you could intercept them sending the request out, almost look for what they're looking for, and just send it to them. You don't even need access to the mobile phone. It was a hack in the 2FA kind of protocol. So that's what's happened here. So a whole host of users have had their wallets emptied, essentially. But weirdly, as we know with Coinbase and with Crypto.com, they've both done the same thing, which is they've just held their hands up to the mistake and gone, yeah, that's on us, and they've refunded the money.
Yeah.
So
it's a good user experience, but it does, I suppose, highlight how high the fees are on these, how much money they're actually making.
Oh yeah, like they are making stupid money, and it's always which is similar to Coinbase. The only reason they can refund it without a problem is the fact it's relatively small amounts of money. This around the $15 million. Obviously, it's a lot of money for an average person, but for a huge exchange, it's nothing. If this was 1.5 billion, then you probably wouldn't be getting a refund. So
exactly.
It's just another example of this is one of the biggest exchanges going now that is advertising fucking everywhere. And they had quite a basic fundamental flaw in their process here. So don't hold your coins on. If you buy Bitcoin on crypto.com, like fine, I don't care. But don't hold it there. Put it on your hardware wallet.
I was just about to say that it's probably a really good chance that you wouldn't be able to access your coins in the exchange, so take it off.
You're just making me remember about Coinbase. So I've been emailing them. I've just been saying, some people see other offers. I haven't seen any for 3 months. And we're like,
I can't believe you're emailing support. Where's my $1 lessons?
I'm just saying.
Wow, this is where it's like he's turned into a crack addict, ladies and gentlemen. Like, he has gone from, I'm just going to do 5%, then 10%. Now he wants every sat that he can get. Anything that he can get is on it. Dr. Evil 10% is a sat fiend.
He's still emailing now.
Yeah.
I know. You just
You're
remind me.
witnessing live sat greed.
Like, don't give me that shit. I talked to Mr. All In and Sir Never Look, and they saw some lessons last week for Cum Rocket and Monkey Jizz. I want my $3.
Yeah, support. I need.
Give me my fucking free sats. Oh, how interesting. Please tell me more about polka dots.
I did think I was going to get cut off from that because I reckon I'm probably one of the fastest people to complete those lessons, which isn't a good thing. It clearly means I'm not reading them. So I
am suspicious that that's why I've been cut off.
Yeah, but I've always done that and I'm still getting them.
Yeah, it's not fair.
I got one last week. It was only for like $2, but I got one. Like,
do you ever buy any Bitcoin through Coinbase?
Yeah.
Actually, just plain Coinbase, not Pro.
Oh no.
Okay, so it's not that, because I was wondering whether it's the fact that I don't use normal Coinbase and I just use Pro. No,
I don't think they care. It's the same.
I'm still stuck on bloody Stellar. On that, the only one which comes up is Stellar Lumens, and it says you earned 10 XLM, and it's just like, yeah, I did. That was, I don't know how many months ago.
You have to maybe your buys aren't enough. They're not like, you're not a whale yet. You need to like start buying more Bitcoin, and then maybe they send you some more shitcoin offers.
I've got a free lesson.
I must admit, I probably do suspect that probably I'm in a certain category in there, and if I'm a shitcoiner and I'm going to give a load of shitcoins to people, I'm going to start at the top and work down. So at the moment, it's a maggot.
Yeah, I'm bought any amount for I don't know how long. I buy like £50 a week.
I've got a free lesson up on mine. You should have yours too.
Motherfucker.
Which one is it?
No, I'm just playing with him. I just wanted to see his reaction.
She just made something up.
Yeah, I mean, I still totting up over a year because I'm spending £50 a week. There is a reasonable amount, not obviously loads, but I haven't done any sizable amounts for quite some time now.
I've been pumping the prices, you know. So I've put in a good buy. It's gone up since.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, I think, with the price.
Yeah. I think whoever is out there listening, you know, this is not financial advice, but it's a good time right now. And I think it's on sale because it won't stay like this.
Yeah, it's for the new year. The CEO of Bitcoin put out the notice. It's sale time.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had to guess, I'd say it feels like a bit of accumulation year. So I think it's going to be maybe a bit rocky, a little bit sideways, maybe a little bit down. So these are the years that make or break you. This is like 2018, 2019. These are the times that
just hold fast.
Most people are like, fear keeps them out of the market. There's lots of reasons not to buy right now. And maybe it will go lower, but this is still a great price. So if you wait until the price starts going up, it's accumulation years are just, they're boring. Like, it bores most people. There's not a lot of gains to be had. Most people might be down if you buy at the wrong time, and it's not big exciting gains. But
say if you get, I don't know, say Argentina and Turkey coming into a Bitcoin standard, surely that rockets it.
Yep.
It's confidence, isn't it? It puts confidence in it. I think us three as individuals, though, we actually like this, where it shakes them out, where it is boring.
Oh,
you know, let it be boring.
I would love it to plummet back to the 2018 prices?
Yeah.
No, actually, it wasn't 2018, 2020.
But,
start off
2020, what, March?
Yeah. The COVID dipped like
that would literally be my dream. I'd be selling everything which I could.
I would cry myself to sleep, but yeah, it'd be.
I'd be like, my wife would be like, "You're at a loss." I was just like, "Don't care. We're selling this. We're selling that. Even that pan we can get pounds for. But we need something to cook it. I don't care."
Mr. All-In's on suicide watch if it was longer than a week.
Yeah, man. Jesus. That was when the last bit of my fiat went in. Hit that dip. I was virtually all in then, but I scrabbled the last bit of cash together and got the last bit in at that point. So if it went back to that, obviously right now, when you're living on a Bitcoin standard, you do want the price to only go up, because I can't really buy the dip anymore. I don't have really a proper income. So I'm on a Bitcoin standard. When the price goes down, whatever it went down by, that's the percent of my wealth that I lost.
So pretty much you're saying back in March 2020, if you weren't locked down to your home, you probably would have been given out behind the back of a train station giving HJs.
Oh, definitely. And who says I wasn't anyway?
But you weren't charging.
I had a queue of homeless.
He was wearing PPE though. That's the important thing.
Glory holes only.
Yeah.
Don't breathe on me. Just come on my face.
But it didn't solve your problem about Bitcoin dipping down, which you weren't actually charging.
No, I'm saying them.
That was a real dip. That's where all the money went.
I lost so many stats.
Yeah. By reverse OnlyFans. Well, there we have it. Pod number 39, brought to you by Mr. All-In, Dr. Evil 10%, Still Never Look, and she was here, but she was never here, Mrs. No Show. Peace out.